Hello, and welcome to the Carla Knits Podcast. My name is Carla, and I am a knitter, crocheter, and yarn enthusiast living in Nebraska with my husband Jeff, my daughter Jenna, and our cat Reese's. This is episode 9, and today is Friday, April 16th. It is kind of a chilly, cool day here in Nebraska, low 40s, and it is rainy outside, so kind of a nice, cozy day. So I'm happy to be here with you. Thank you to all returning viewers. And if you're stopping by for the first time, thank you so much for coming by. Let's get into a few things. If you'd like to follow me on social media, I am cbcraftygirl on Ravelry and Instagram. A thank you to Brenda of the Night Owls Fiber podcast. She and her daughter Rachel have a podcast, and Brenda gave me a shout out on their podcast, which was so sweet, and I really appreciate it. Brenda reached out to me on Instagram, and it turns out that she attended and graduated from the college that I am working at here in Nebraska. So that was really cool to find out that we had that connection. So Night Owls Fiber podcast. I love it that it's a mother and daughter podcast, and they're just so sweet, and they show many lovely projects, a lot of socks, which I absolutely love. So please check them out too. All right, what I am wearing. So some of you, if you have been with me a little while, may recognize this. This is my Felix Pullover, which I completed last month. This is a pattern by Amy Christoffers, and the yarn is Queensland Kathmandu, and I call it the raspberry colorway. You can see it is quite big. It is very oversized. I definitely could have gone down a size, but it's very cozy, sweatshirty, like I kind of wanted. But I do need to roll the sleeves up, otherwise they come a little low. But it's very cozy. And even though it's a little chilly outside, I have to confess, I'm getting very warm. So this is going to be really good for those bitter cold winter days when we get in the teens, single digits, the negatives. It's going to be perfect. But I thought I would enjoy wearing it one time before I put it away for next fall and winter. I am also wearing a necklace that my husband Jeff got me for Christmas. I thought I would share this. It is a little bit knitting themed. He bought me this necklace, and it has charms on it. And there is a I love knitting charm. I'm not sure you're going to be able to see these things. There is also a sweater, which is really cute. A sweater with knitting needles. So a sweater being knit. So I love knitting, so he did that. And then also a sailboat, because we have a sailboat, and that's one of our favorite activities to do in the summer. Jeff and I go out on the boat. It's about a half hour. There's a lake a half hour from us. So that's really special to us. And I also play piano. I teach piano at our local college. So there's a grand piano charm. So this was a really sweet, thoughtful gift, and Jeff is always really sweet about getting me gifts, related to my hobbies or the things that I love. So I always get knitting themed gifts. So often knitting fiction books or knitting related jewelry. So he's always really sweet about that. And let me tell you who that's from. It's KD Designs, and they are a Lincoln, Nebraska based company. And their website is kddesignsjewelry.com. And they have lots of beautiful, beautiful things. And he was just able to go pick something out because it was pretty local to us. So, all right. I have a few finished objects for you this week. I'm counting this as one finished object, but it's actually 4 things, but they're small. So that's why I'm calling it a finished object. I don't think I can hold all 4 of them, but these are cup cozies. Let me grab the other 2. So these cup cozies, there we go. So all 4 of these. An earlier episode, I shared 2 of them that I had made, and now I finished the remaining ones that I bought. So this was a kit that I bought from Around the Table Yarns. I think it's an Ohio-based company. So the kit came with this color changing cup, and it came with the yarn to make the cozy. It came with the sweet little leather tag and hardware. Mine has a bee, so be kind. They had other tags to choose from related to coffee or maybe tea, but I liked the be kind sentiment, so I got that for all 6 of the cups, the 4 that I'm showing you today. I did check their website today. They still do have some more kits available. This was really affordable. I thought this would be great for a Christmas gift. So I had shared, you know, a few episodes ago that, you know, filling it with candy or a gift card could be a really fun Christmas gift. So Christmas gifts or some late fall birthdays that I have, these are probably going to be gifted for that. So those are my cup cozies. The yarn that was used for this was Malabrigo Rasta yarn. So it's, you know, it's really chunky, so it knit up pretty fast. So that was a fun, quick knit. Is anybody else thinking about Christmas knitting yet? That's kind of going through my mind now. I've got a mental list of the things that I want to make for Christmas. Socks are on that list. I have a few people I'd like to knit socks for. So I'm thinking about that. I'd be curious if any of you are thinking about Christmas knitting. Have you started Christmas knitting? Do you do it all year round? Do you just do it in November and December? I tend to do it all year round. I have a few spring gifts that I'm trying to finish up, which I'll share in a little bit. But after that, I will start working on some Christmas items. All right, my other finished object is, I'm kind of nervous to even say this. It is my pair of mittens. If you watched last week, you know I had such a hard time saying mittens and knitting together in a sentence. I watched that back while I was going to edit it, and I was like, oh man, you gotta be kidding me. And it happened twice. So mittens, my mittens are knitted and complete. This was a pattern by Tin Can Knits, the world's simplest mitten, and it really was a very nice pattern to follow. It's a pattern that comes with directions for 4 weights of yarn, fingering, DK, worsted, and chunky. And so this is a worsted weight yarn. This is by Adalynne Rose Fibers in the Fun Dips colorway. I knit these on magic loop, and then I did the thumbs, I was gonna say the finger, the thumbs on double points. And I shared last week that I used the double points that were really long. Well, I did it for the second one too, because that's what I had. But I think I will probably invest in some shorter DPNs, and thank you to the viewer who commented that Knit Picks has a good selection of DPNs, and they're quite affordable. So I did check that out, and you're right. Thank you so much for suggesting that. So I'm very happy with how these mittens turned out. Mittens, I said it. And I showed Jeff last night, and I asked if he would like a pair of mittens, and he would. So I'm thinking, yes, I have a Christmas gift idea for Jeff. I don't know about you guys, but I find it very hard to buy for my husband. So if I can do something handmade, I will. So he is going to get a pair of mittens. I'll be talking about that a little bit later. And he always gets a pair of hand knit socks too. So those are 2 gifts that I know that I will have for Jeff for Christmas. All right, so those are my mittens. I don't think I have anything else to say. I love the yarn. It's so pretty, so speckled. This yarn is so plump and nice to work with. The stitch definition is really nice on this. So very happy with my first pair of mittens, and it certainly will not be my last pair. All right. I have a half object, which is a sock. So I showed the start of this last week. This is the Wish You Were Here sock pattern by the Kitchen Sink shop. Let's see, the yarn is the Lemonade Shop, the main color in the sugar coated colorway, and the bright pink is Camelot Dyeworks in the Siren colorway. So the pattern does dictate a, sorry, my words are failing me, heel flap and gusset for the sock, but I wanted to do the alternating colors. So I did a German short row heel for the sock. I follow Mina Phillips, the Knitting Expat, one of her patterns for her German short row heel. So I tucked that in there. And hopefully you can see that sweet little lace pattern going down the foot. So this will be for an upcoming spring gift. I have not started the second one, but I hope to start this week or very soon. So yeah, so that is Wishing You Were Here sock. So that's it for finished objects and half objects. Going into WIPs, works in progress. In my Michigan bag, I grew up in Michigan, so this is near and dear to my heart. So this Michigan bag is by Specialty Sewing. So it's this fun, I think, indigo dyed fabric, and it says home with Michigan, the state of Michigan, as the O. And that's about where I grew up in Michigan. So really nice bag. It has a jean pocket on the back. But living in this is my worsted weight sock. Last week I showed the completed sock. So I still have my completed sock here. And this is as far as I got on the second one this week. I am using the pattern Sakade sock pattern by Sarah Troia of Bumblebee Acres Farm. And the yarn I am using is by the Woolen Homestead in the Life is the Bubbles colorway. I am holding 2 strands of fingering weight together, and it's making a really nice squishy material. I really love this, so I'll be anxious to have this done and put in my box of socks for next Christmas. It's going to be a really nice cozy pair of socks. So that's my progress on that. Next is my very pink shawl. So I'm calling this my pink shawl. I should share the bag that I have it in. This pretty bag, perfect shawl size. This is by Molly Klein Design on Etsy. I love the pretty floral. And I've got some fun pins on this side. Sweet Tea Yarns is her yarn company, Molly's, and then Molly Klein Design. A pin from Adelaide Cottage. A pin that says Knitter. I think that was from Maker's Haven. And then this pin I really love. This is an enamel pin that says Skyline Chili. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with Skyline Chili, but this is a Cincinnati, Ohio favorite thing. My husband grew up in Cincinnati and introduced me to Skyline Chili when we were dating. So that's a favorite of ours. So chili parlors were and are pretty popular in Cincinnati, Ohio, and in the surrounding areas. So that is the bag that my pink shawl is living in. And here is my pink shawl. The pattern is called Grapefruit by Gabrielle Imbault. Get some fuzzy off of here. So obviously ends aren't woven in for parts of this yet. So the stitch marker, yep, is where I was last week in the middle of the stockinette portion. And so I am almost completed with the next lace section. I have one more row to go on that lace section. Then there will be some alternating rows of the fingering weight, the bright pink yarn with the mohair, and then it goes into another section of the mohair stockinette. I confess this is really what I want to work on. I am working, you know, on all these little projects too, but I really, really love this, and I really want to work on this. But I do enjoy having a number of projects, but I really just want to sit down and work on this. So, yeah, this is bringing me a lot of joy, a lot of fun. So that is my last finished object, or not finished object. Yeah, I wish. My last work in project for this week. I'd like to share some knitting plans that I have, or some dream knitting. Excuse me a minute. And you guys know that I love pink yarn, but this week you will also see that I love green yarn too. So as I was thinking about patterns that I wanted to make, all of the green yarn came out. So the first I will share with you, I talked about my mittens and how I would like to knit a pair of mittens for Jeff. So this is left over from my weekender sweater, which I think I wore that in episode 1. So it's a beautiful forest green. It's kind of a heathered green. It's got some lighter greens in there. So this is Cascade Yarns 220 Superwash. There's 220 yards. So this would be, and it's a worsted weight, right? I believe it is. Yeah. So this would be enough to make a pair of mittens for Jeff. And this would go good. He has a green winter coat and a brown winter coat. So this would go really well for him. And he, you know, he's so sweet. He's the one that always goes outside, and does the snow blowing in the winter. So a nice warm wool pair of mittens would be really nice, I think. So that will get started at some point in the future. The couple other things here with my green yarn. This green yarn is Berocco Ultra Alpaca. And I've had this in my stash for a couple of years now, and I love this green. I guess I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with it, but I have one skein of it. And I am going to knit the Foliage Hat. I hope you can see that a little bit. So it's a hat with a leaf lace texture, a leaf lace motif around it. I have knit this before, and to be honest, I don't know where that hat went. I must have gifted that to somebody, and I'm pretty sure it was before I was yeah, I know it's not on Ravelry, so it was before I was posting my objects, finished objects on Ravelry. But a beautiful lace leaf texture. I love hats or sweaters with leaf motifs in them. So I'm going to use this to knit this hat again. I remember it being very enjoyable. It's a free pattern on Ravelry by Irina Dmitrieva, and it comes with written instructions, or it also comes with the pattern charted out for you. So I'm curious, are you someone who likes to follow a chart when it calls for lace, or are you someone who likes the written instructions? I am someone who likes the written instructions. So for that grapefruit shawl, you know, that comes with written and charted, but I am following those written instructions for that as well. So so that's my second green yarn project to come. And then this yarn, I love this beautiful green tonal yarn. This is by Big Pine Yarn Company. I'm just looking something up here. Big Pine Yarn Company. This is a sport weight yarn in the Ragelal colorway, R-H-A-E-G-A-L, but it's this beautiful, beautiful green. And so the pattern that I am going to use this yarn with is called the Wildflower Tunic by Jessica McDonald. And in the pattern, it's this pretty little rosy pink color. So this is for baby on up through toddler, I believe. There's no babies in my family right now. No babies to be expected. I just, at the moment. but it's something I have wanted to knit for a while, and it'll just be something that, you know, I save in my tote of knit or crocheted gifts for someday. So this is shown in this pretty, like I said, rosy or frosted pink colorway. But I'm going to share with you on Ravelry what really drew me to the green was this picture of it. So are you seeing that? Yeah. So it's a sweet little tunic, and the bottom part looks like wildflowers. So it has that pretty texture on that. So that really drew me to this pattern and this yarn. So I would like to get started on that. I'm really excited to try that. Of course, I have sock knitting plans. Oh, so much sock yarn and so much yarn I want to use, but I'm holding off on it a little bit. I need to finish, you know, this sock and this sock. I want to finish these socks. And then probably a lot of you know the Crazy Sock Lady. She hosts a summer sock camp, just knitting socks along with a lot of people, doing different methods of sock knitting, whether it be DPNs or magic loop or 9-inch circulars. I think this year she's adding in 2 circulars. It's just a fun thing to do for summer. And summer is, you know, it's a great time for those small projects, especially if you live somewhere really warm. And it does get pretty warm here in Nebraska. So socks are a really nice project to work on. So I've got some sock plans for summer sock camp coming up. I think that starts in June. So always sock plans in the works here. Let me share with you some stash, some things that showed up in my mailbox. So I will, let's see, start with this. This is the March 2021 colorway by Knitterly Things. So I belong to her self-striping sock club. This colorway, this is a cute name, is called Mystic Milkshake. So that looks like a really fun colorway. And I signed up now for the next 3 months, and it's really fun. You can try her different bases. So she has, this is a 75 superwash wool, 25% nylon. She has a 80-20 blend, and then she also has a sparkle base. And so I chose to get the sparkle base for the next 3 months. So I'll be excited to see what that yarn looks like. So that. And then I shared earlier in this episode about Night Owl Fibers. Brenda, her daughter Rachel. Rachel is a beautiful hand dyer of, she has self-striping yarn and she has speckled yarn. I was really drawn to this colorway. So this will be a self-striping yarn, and I confess it's the name and the colors got me. It's Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. So Chicka Chicka, this is our old baby book version of Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. So Chicka Chicka ABC, and the colors couldn't be more perfect. I just love it. This was a book I loved reading to my daughter when she was little. I loved reading to her. So we have a lot of children's books still in our house, but just look at that. Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. And those colors are just perfect. They really represent this book so well. So I think this will be such a sweet memory. So when you buy yarn, are you drawn to colorways? I'm of course drawn to colorways, but names of yarn always get me. So this one really got me. I've bought Star Wars yarn before. I've bought Harry Potter themed yarn before. Just certain names of yarn, if they represent something, just are so fun and so special. So I will be looking forward to casting this on soon. This may come up really soon because yeah, I'm really anxious to do this. So also speaking of Night Owl's Fiber, Brenda recently, I believe she completed this pair of socks. Her other daughter gifted her a pair of, or a skein of sock yarn for Christmas, and I was not familiar with this brand, but this is Active sock yarn, and I did find this on Etsy. And this is a really fun, looks like this one is self-striping, and this one is a self-patterning yarn. So Active, AKTIV. And when I saw her socks, I just thought they were fabulous. They were so fun. And so I got on and found on Etsy and found this yarn. And I think these are gonna knit up super fun. They're both a 75% wool and 25% nylon blend. 420 meters, so lots of yarn in yardage there to make a pair of socks. So thank you, Brenda, for sharing your socks, so I could discover that brand, and I'll be excited to see how that knits up. All right, so we are about done for today. Again, I want to thank you, all of you who have subscribed, liked, stopped by, who have messaged me or started friending me on Ravelry, following me on Instagram and reaching out, sending messages. Thank you so much. I have a couple questions for you. Are you interested in me creating a Ravelry page for this, or a Ravelry group, excuse me, for this podcast? Is that something you'd be interested in? Also, would you like me to host knit-alongs? That could be on Ravelry if we have a group, or it could just be something that we do on Instagram. I guess I'm just curious to see if any of you are interested in that. I know there's a lot of knit-alongs out there, but if that's something you'd like, I would love to do that. I love knit-alongs. I think they are great fun. So please let me know what you think about that. And if you have any fun ideas for knit-alongs, crochet-alongs. So I say knit-along, but I also mean crochet. So any ideas for those make-alongs? Of course, you know I love knitting socks. So a self-striping sock-along would be fun. I love Christmas knitting, so Christmas gift knitting, or just gift knitting in general, or sweaters or shawls, anything. So again, if you have ideas, please let me know. I'm looking forward to being at episode 10 the next time. So if you have any questions for me, doesn't necessarily have to be knitting or crochet related. If you'd like to know anything about me, please feel free to ask a question. You can ask in the comments down below on this episode. You can ask on Ravelry, send me a message, or you can send me a direct message on Instagram. That would be great. So with that, I will stop for today. Thank you so much for taking some time out to be with me today. And I hope you have a great week of knitting, crocheting, making, and I will see you really soon. Happy making. Bye-bye.